Okay, here we go. Welcome to the first annual yearly bipartisan bifunctional
Something about the
commentary that I've done for the I don't know. I'm something just made me want to do this. I don't know. Just thought it would be fun to go back and watch my video and sort of react to it and talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff that was going on, why I did or talked about some of the things I did.
What it was. My mind was
True story. This really did happen. I was literally just like, I was going to feed my cat and she was meowing at with her mouth wide open. And in my head, I just went, oh, that reminds me of something. Oh, that reminds me of that weird wolf cat creature thing from The Neverending Story.
Likely thanks
And literally my head just started going, oh, but what other films? That film, that part, that creeped me out. What else really creeped me out? Oh, let me think about this. And so I'm like going through and I'm, hit the mute button, and I'm going through and I'm trying to figure out like what other films creep me out. And most of these just popped right into my head. They really came up right at the top of my head. I spent a couple of days thinking about it before I started making the video.
Are films that were less, but managed to slip in some imagery that creeped me out as a child and continue to do so.
Yeah, ADHD. My brain. I'll probably get lost at some point while I'm doing this, but that's okay. That's what we're here for the fun of watching me flounder around and talk about randomness.
So you might want to be wary.
It's really interesting how like PG. We do talk about like keep it PG, like oh that's so PG. How we've taken that to mean like just bland or clean, when like PG, parental guidance, like it meant, hey, parents, be careful. There might be something in here that you don't want your kids to watch. And yet, like, what parent did? What parent saw PG and went, maybe not. They were just like, oh, it's PG, fine. Give it to them. Pop it in the thing. I'm gonna go do some like taxes or something, some grown-up-y stuff. And I haven't thought of any other films. If you watch this and you think of some other films that might fit this mold, I could make a part 2. Because there are definitely others, but those are the ones that I just really popped into my head.
Kind of vibe. And few did it better.
I am a huge Winnie the Pooh fan. I've got the Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal things that I show in here. I've got just in a drawer over here. And I've got, I live in Japan. I've got way more back home. My mom takes care of them. So, yeah, massive Winnie the Pooh fan. When I was a kid, this scene it was really bizarre. It was really weird.
It is the scene.
That scene with Rabbit was pretty creepy too. Reminds me of the Sleepy Hollow, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the animated version where he's walking across the bridge and there's like all the frogs, it sounds like they're going Ichabod. That one with Rabbit is very similar.
And
it was creepy, kind of like in the things that go bump in the night creepy. This was creepy on a whole different level. Like it was just so weird. And I don't know what I was thinking when I was a kid. Honestly, don't know what it meant to me. I just remember thinking this part was weird. I remember not liking this part. Partly, I think it was kind of boring. Like, I don't know why things are going on. Like, there's no dialogue. It's just things dancing around. And why is Pooh dreaming about elephants? You know, it's never made a lot of sense to me. But it was also, there were some creepy elements to it.
They come in all shapes and
the song. I remember that laugh. That laugh always creeped me out. I don't know why. Something about that I just didn't like it.
Moving on.
This song cracks me up. Like,
close and far away.
Because it's just like it lists all the things they are, and they're all opposites. So it's like they're here, they're there, they're up and they're down, they're backwards and forwards.
Look at those.
When I was editing this, the creepy eyes. All the other eyes move. Even the other ones, like the eyes are closed. That thing's eyes don't move. It's creepy.
Ultimate, an absolute favorite of anything on this impossible list is that they are.
When I was a kid, that cracked me up. I knew enough as a kid. I knew that word, and it just was like they're insincere. It just seems so out of place. There are all these things. They're far. They're in. They're out. They're all about, and they're insincere. They don't. You just can't take them seriously. So, yeah, that's why it was the lowest on this list. It was also because between this and Dumbo came first. So, and this one, the Dumbo was like 1940, and Pooh was like 1977. And so Dumbo came first. So obviously, Heffalumps and Woozles is kind of either an homage or they stole stuff from it. So they're definitely influenced heavily from it. And it's just shorter. But this has some way creepier stuff. So I thought it definitely fit on number 2.
How to mentally scar you. And the king of the why am I watching someone's bad acid trip is the pink elephants on parade scene from Dumbo.
So far, I think the only thing that I've, just general editing is all I've done so far on this. I think I did the one little bit with my cat. I did some color grading and stuff on that. And the title. I had a lot of fun with the title. That was fun.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that gets played to turn
that line, that part right there. Those are creepy. Look at the way they're dancing, like the lightning. And then he like wipes his bottom like he's using a towel with lightning. It's just, and look at that. That's nightmare fuel right there. That is creepy.
Technicolor and
yeah. Why all these colors? Why is everybody plaid? Why do we have plaid elephants molding into each other, dancing around, splitting apart, becoming whatever the heck that is? Like, what is this? This is the weirdest collection of things. And like, they're supposed to be just really drunk. Like, what are you drinking to have this as your like experience? Like I don't know if I've ever truly been that drunk. I've never been so drunk that I hallucinated, but like, has anyone?
Borrowed heavily.
That transitions. That is fire. That is the coolest transition. Gorgeous. Like they turn into those clouds, and the clouds are like the color of the sunrise. That's just cool. Like, that made it all worthwhile.
Labyrinth.
I love this movie. I love all of these movies. Dumbo is probably my least favorite of all the ones. It's fine. It's okay. Labyrinth is up there. Labyrinth is a huge favorite of mine, and I love David Bowie. And yeah, Tim Henson.
Guitar player Jim Henson, master of puppets, will be a recurring theme as well, as he gave us so many iconic.
These are from Storyteller. Absolutely one of my all-time favorite Jim Henson collaborations. The Storyteller is so cool.
But they managed to.
These hand things creeped me out when I was a kid. That definitely creeped me out. I love this thing. Hello. No, I said hello. So cute.
Thrust on the
Hoggle. Hoggle's kind of creepy.
Pruriently as David Bowie's.
Look at that, just poking right out there. I think he had a chub going on there, because like if you see some of the others, he's not quite as poignant. These things truly creeped me out when I was a kid. When this came on, I didn't like it. They creeped me out. Now I'm like, yeah, they're fine. They're a little bit creepy.
They seem able to remove their body parts at will.
I love this song though. It cracks me up.
Health repercussions.
And they have like a weird mix. Like one of them's like Jamaican for some reason. Come on. That's like straight out of Beetlejuice right there. That's creepy. I didn't put anything that was like specifically meant to be scary on here. Like this wasn't meant to be scary. I mean, in a way it is, but it's not. It's not like a scary movie. Like Beetlejuice was a very scary film, and then it came out roughly similar time, but like it's kind of like that's the gist behind it. This is supposed to be a kind of fantasy storyline. It's not meant to be just scary. So I guess neither was Beetlejuice, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like it. Beetlejuice was kind of silly in its scary bits. It was creepy, somewhat grotesque, but like, and of course Beetlejuice, he's awesome. But that's why I didn't put any of those on this list. Dark Crystal. I remember watching this when I was a little older when I first saw this, because I didn't watch it. Obviously, I didn't watch it when it came out, but I think I was barely alive at that point. So I didn't watch it when it came out, and like watching it now, it's such a cool project, but like there are bits of it where I'm just like when the puppets talk, it kind of takes me out, because it's like, okay, well that's obviously not these puppets, but like the human-y looking. I love Physic, he's so cool. The human-y looking puppets, because their mouth's just gonna go. What is that thing? It's like a cockroach. Creepy.
They straight up.
I'd forgotten about this. And so I rewatched this and I was just like, oh, I forgot they just murdered her.
It don't get more gangster than that.
And the Skeksis.
That's not why it's on this list.
They would be creepy if they weren't just kind of hilarious. Like, in that little, the sound they make sometimes just...
We'll be hanging...
And like, this section with like the emperor who's like melting because he's dying. Like, he's just so... He's like, the emperor. And everyone's just like, oh, yeah, this guy. He's like, and then he dies and disintegrates, like you do.
They are basically the big bad of the film.
Those are cool swords.
And they are truly bad.
Like, they just smack them together. They're like, man.
As a child, is the scene where they are draining
this. I'm sorry. This is like one of the creepiest things on this list.
Can drink it and prolong.
I don't know why. This puppet.
It's
just a puppet, and it's like losing its life energy, and it's creepy.
As life energy drains from his face, his skin becomes gaunt and
like his eyes turning like cataract-y, and like his hair. Like look now, he's got like a little bit of hair, but then like you pull back, you just see the life liquid coming out. And this his face. Oh, it's so creepy.
Watching this while I edit this, I'm creeped out. Imagine being a young child, all of 8 years old, watching this.
These things become slaves. Like, this is really a dark story.
Thankfully, this wasn't.
These Skeksis are so.
And spoiler alert.
That little joke that I made in this Skeksis cola. I went through several iterations for that one before I came out with that one I finally liked. I'm gonna make a video soon about dealing with AI generative stuff because, oh my god, it's just been a nightmare for me. Every time I ask for something, it's just like, we can't do that. I'm like, why? I'm asking you for a picture of a person standing in the middle of a lake, and they're like, oh, it could violate. I don't know. People could get turned on by the lake being there. I'm just like, what is going on in this world? Willow is, oh my god. I love this film. When I've probably seen this film maybe not 100 times, but I've seen it so many times.
Adjacent or something to that.
Like coming back at it now, watching it after I'm looking at like color-wise, it looks beautiful, especially this part. Like I love how like vibrant the colors are. It looks so pretty. And then as you move further on in the film, it just gets darker and bleaker. The color scheme just turns more almost monochromatic. Like it's everything's just dark and gray. I remember when I was a kid, this creeped me out. I've hated this thing.
Look, I'm sorry.
Warwick Davis, you are a master.
Mildly terrifying.
Those little dog things creep me out too. And they come in like really early on in the film. This one starts you out. Like it doesn't beat around the bush.
Feels lived
with some creepy imagery. This guy, oh my god, I need to do just a whole series of videos on him.
I'm Willow Ufgood.
His face pulling. I love the brownies.
Struggles to develop and learn magic.
Kevin Pollak, master of voices there.
Realistic. Also, for a film that came out,
it was really this actually really was kind of cool. The fact that they he struggles to be. He doesn't just show up and like, poof, hey, I've got a wand, I can do magic. Like he's trying, and it's painful at times. Like you see him in pain. And that bit there, that's so cool. I think it's stop motion, but it's really, really well done, and it looks creepy as hell.
On the list and continues our theme of body horror.
So,
sits in front of the castle where the evil sorceress Queen Bavmorda resides. It's your basic chosen.
I thought this was really interesting. I pointed this out. Like the reason why I pointed this out was like the fact that they were like the chosen one, but they're just a baby. The whole movie, they never grow up. You don't see the baby grow up. You don't start out with a child and then they grow up to be the chosen one and then save the world. The world is saved around them.
Well, an infant.
And you think she's like some sort of MacGuffin, but she's not. She literally has nothing to do except existing in this film. The queen's trying to do something, and she's, it's all surrounding her, but they don't use her. She don't use her powers. The baby doesn't like come to life and attack her. I thought it's very unique, especially now that we've seen so many Chosen One stories.
Is poised to take the castle.
She looks sauced here. She looks drunk. She's like, this is not an army.
It's a spell.
This part. Oh my god. I'm not exaggerating. Like, and all of these, I'm not exaggerating. These creeped me out. Watching them become pigs. Like that part, the hand that that part cracks me up. Rizal.
Fully pigs.
Seeing them become pigs. Oh my God. That destroyed me when I was this part. Especially the first time I saw it. Oh, but even since then, even from that point on, even watching it, every time I saw this when I was a kid, it creeped me out. And even now watching it, it is disturbing.
Rizal is changed back to human just in
that last little bit. That was cool. Oh, this section here, if you go back and watch, the wand just sort of appears and just whoop out of me. Ghostbusters. Another one. I mean, Ghostbusters was kind of in that realm too.
I wouldn't be
there were some scary bits of Ghostbusters, but I don't know. Some of these were a bit more iconically scary. Ghostbusters had scary bits. But
unpacking the fact that I was
imagine being transformed into another animal. Like tomorrow you're a pig, and then a couple hours later you get turned back from being a pig, but you were a pig for a few hours, right?
Another Tuesday.
Like that had to be just traumatizing.
Thank you, Willow.
Okay, and then my pièce de resistance, my masterpiece is what's coming up next, and I spent a good bit of time on this. Seriously. I probably shouldn't have, but I found this to be endlessly entertaining. I saw that specific scene. She's like, well, I'll call upon you to surrender. And I thought, oh my God, like, what if this was from the Monty Python, from the Holy Grail? And I just had to. And so I just smashed these together. The colors look a bit more of the same, and that's for some reason when I got this imported into DaVinci, the color scheme was like Rec 2100 ST 084, and then of course the Monty Python is older, much more washed out sort of film. So I left these on. I didn't do any color management on this, and actually because of it. It left them very squashed in their color scheme, very kind of dead, and they matched really well. This one I worked on a good bit. I had to get rid of that little scene where you saw the cow. It was like a moment scene, but it took me probably an hour of scrubbing out all the Arthur's men so I could then scrub out the foreground and then put the two together. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one.
Number 2.
Pinocchio. Pinocchio is just...
1940.
The whole show is just nightmare fuel. Everything about this, and I did not realize how absolutely inappropriate this show was. There's a part where he's at he's becoming an actor, and he's on there. There's these little, there's a marionette doll in a French maid outfit, and then there's another one with some can girls, and they've got kind of big breasts, and Jiminy Cricket just starts oogling them.
Kids smoking cigars and drinking beer, like everyone did in the 40s. True.
I guess the way this show, it's kids are bad by smoking, drinking, and breaking things. That cat, oh my God. That cat's so cute.
Take this off the list with wait.
My cat's wanting to get in on this.
Because
this scene, even now, the scene... It's so well done when he's turning into a donkey, when that kid is turning into a donkey. Not this part. He's got a cute donkey thing, but here, when he's running around and shouting.
Take it easy now.
It is
getting ahead of myself again. What the heck is that black thing? And I finished this video, and then I just totally missed those things. What are they? They're dark gorilla. So maybe the donkeys are slaves. Maybe those are some other kind of person too.
Hatch this plan.
Look at the picture. Look at the little kids. They're oh, it's so weird looking.
Irresistible.
The animation on that was so funny.
And then through the magic of magic beer and tomfoolery.
But yeah, this coming up, this part. Just it's the same thing as the last one. They turn into pigs, they've turned into donkeys, and they can't talk. He knows who he is. He tries to talk, and just hee-haw comes out, and that's just terrifying. The thought of that, being turned into. What are those black things? What are those? Look at it. What is that? Jiminy Cricket's just what's going on here?
Been turned into donkeys, loaded onto a boat, and be sold into slavery. We watch.
This is a part that creeps me out. He's just
Alexander,
And then this guy with his horrible fake British accent.
You're led to believe aren't fully donkified.
He can still talk. He almost sounds like he's like British and like, because there's another guy named Stromboli who they call a G word, and yeah, it's bad. But I mean, like Stromboli's got this like stupid fake Italian. This guy's he's like, he's a still a boy. But that part with his hands turn into hooves, and then this one, that is creepy.
As their humanity,
Good grief, that is frightening.
turn full donkey.
And this is it. Pinocchio's like, nah, okay, I don't want this. No, don't need this anymore. He's made of wood at this point.
About midway.
Well, how is he turning into a donkey? There's questions. He just is like, nope, I had enough of this. I'm out. I'll go jump in the sea. Well, apparently this is Pleasure Island, but it's like a boat.
The story never goes back.
Yeah, they never go back to this. They never talk about this again. This is never brought up. So somewhere in the world of Pinocchio, after Geppetto finds him and they're reunited and live happily ever after, are a bunch of donkey kids and weird black gorilla ape things.
Something about it.
That took me a while to stitch this together, but when I did, oh my God, it's so seamless.
And if I'm honest, even now, it's still creepy as hell. Thanks, Disney.
Say,
I love this.
that's pretty swell.
Thanks. Thanks, Disney. Oh yeah, number one. I could spend like weeks talking about this. There's so many things in this show. Like that I might do a whole video on the Neverending Story. Because there's just so much stuff going on. I did not, this is really funny. I knew the name Artax. I didn't have to look it up. It was just like, it's so deeply embedded. And like, I remember like watching these scenes, I like started tearing up. Like that's how much that, oh, and by the way, that horse did not die I'm sure it's dead now, but it did not die in the making of this film. That is an urban legend. It was perfectly fine. They went through a lot of this is well after the
on the silver screen.
I forget the legislation, the stuff that made where they had to have people on site to make sure they were okay with animals.
It wasn't so much.
Yeah, it's not scary. I mean, it is scary, but it's just deeply depressing.
Springboard this to the top.
And that's the whole point. Stop daydreaming. That's what the show's talking about. So that's why I put that in there. It's definitely sort of foreshadowing. It's like the first couple scenes in the film, and it's foreshadowing the nothing. And like, you know, he's basically, hey, stop dreaming, which is what everyone wants you to do, right? There she is. That was the one. Open her mouth just like that, and that's what made me think of it. Her name is Nana, and you can't have her. She's mine.
Yeah. Why not?
This guy kind of creeped me out too.
And the thing that to this day still,
and like this little scene. I remember this little scene with the Emperor's palace or whatever, and like all the little weird looking things. Oh my God, this thing. Just look at him. That is the way he's moving. Like it's animatronic, or not, it's not animatronic, but it's practical, and like it makes it like if this was CG, it just wouldn't look as good. He'd look creepy, but something about that uncanny valley almost, to the fact that he's not, you know, he's a puppet.
Who are you?
I am. Nobody even said I'm the Morgue. His name's Gamork. Not the greatest name, not the scariest name.
of hope.
I always thought he said I'm the Morgue.
His own admission.
Who are you really?
But it's really interesting. Like he's working with the nothing, and that's creepy. Like throughout the whole film, you see that. And I remember when I was a kid, the nothing creeped me out. Like so many things about the show creeped me out. The nothing creeped me out. This thing creeped me out. A couple of the creatures, like that weird turtle thing, was creepy. Like there's so many parts of this that were so scary and so weird. Go back and watch the film though. I didn't realize that
not just in its
the Southern Oracle, like he's looking up at them, and they're just these two sphinx with really giant breasts, and it's very funny.
Cold eyes. But it's the combination of him and the fact that he's
oh geez, he's creepy. I liked Rockbiter when I was a kid. That nothing. That is so cool. The effect that they got on that, and like these little bits. I remember when I was a kid, the nothing scared the poop out of me, and then when I saw this thing, I'm like, this Gamort guy, oh my god, freaked me out. And even when I watched it later on as a kid, it just was scary. But that, like, looks just like my cat somehow. I don't know. Like, it's got a longer snout. You smoosh the snout in, and it's like, it's a cat. It's got cat eyes. So it's like a wolf thing with cat eyes. And then later on, you see it. It's like one of the dogs from Ghostbusters. It's got like a huge body.
The existential threat
He's creepy.
Nothing, combined with the real physical and intimidating terror of this thing staring back at you.
Yeah, he's
close. As he calmly,
and yeah, he's just like he's just whispering to you. He's just like, "Hey, come closer. I'm gonna eat you," and like, I'm gonna make you desperate and hopeless, and then I'm gonna wear your skin like a skin suit and do whatever I want because I've got control over you. And like, it really made me think of kind of what's going on right now in the world. There's so many things that are going on. It's like the news seems to pummel you and make you feel like it's hopeless. And like the whole point of this film is that it's a never-ending story. It's cyclical. It comes and goes. It'll come and then you'll save the day and your hopes will return. But then something else comes along and works with the nothing to make you feel hopeless. And yeah, so like the whole like point of the show, the whole point is to not let him win.
Any person rob you.
And I think it's a really good message,
Let them consume you.
despite a lot of the really creepy things. The luck dragon. The part was like, I like little boys. There's so many things about this and Pinocchio. Oh man. And this part coming up, that one,
Thankfully,
I had no idea what he said. I remember as a kid, I was like, huh? It didn't matter. But it was funny. He had to name her.
save the day.
And the name we're given in the show is just him screaming out, blah, blah, blah. And like, you have no idea what he says. So you're just like, okay, well, great. And they don't repeat it. It's literally said, like, the thing is said one time in the whole film. And nobody has idea what it is. And later on, I didn't learn until I'm like well into my adulthood that he says Moonchild.
Classic. As well,
What a name is Moonchild. And why did that not come, like, that comes from a book. So there has to be something there. That turtle thing creeped me out. And then, yeah.
and you
Falcor. He was creepy.
Film listed here that seemed
He's cute.
interesting.
He looked like a dog that I used to have when I was a kid.
You can
She was a Shih Tzu.
well tonight.
So, yeah, that was fun. Little lighthearted, little bit of a reaction / behind the scenes. I didn't talk much about what I was doing editing wise, but I mean, really all I'm doing is stitching together a bunch of clips. And that's not really something that, if you want more in-depth talk about some of the things that I did with regards to the behind the scenes and in terms of how I did some of the editing or how I did some of the color grading or anything like that. I used DaVinci Resolve. I'm my own thing. I'm a musician. I do lots of stuff. So like, if you want to know more, there'll be lots of videos coming out soon. So, yeah, that was my top 7 kid-friendly films from the 80s and 90s that went, and beyond and before, that went way harder and way darker than my little mind was ready for when I was a kid. And even to this day, some of them kind of still creep me out. Definitely. So if you liked it, like, subscribe, share it, get the word out. I like doing these, so I wouldn't mind doing more. I've got a couple of in the works. I'm thinking about doing a video on the Willow, what should we call it? The Willow series that Disney came out with. And I'm excited to talk about that as to why I think it was bad and why it failed and what's wrong with it, and talk about it in general. And I've got some other videos that I'm thinking about doing. So if you are interested in that sort of thing and you want to see more of it, then let a brother know and we'll keep going. Otherwise, I'll stop what I'm doing and go back to my other editing projects. as which they are legion. So take care. Hug your dogs and cats because they're probably hungry, and hugging them will annoy them. And it's my little subtle way of getting back at them for constantly meowing at me. I love my cats, don't get me wrong. So anyways, yeah, this has gone along long enough. Have a nice day. Goodbye.